Germany is marking 50 years since the building of the Berlin Wall. And take a look at these pictures, because they're live pictures from Berlin where people are gathering for a ceremony to mark that anniversary. The wall went up almost overnight in August 1961 as communist East Germany tried to prevent citizens fleeing over to the West. And the wall came down in 1989, and today only a few pieces of the wall do remain standing. Let's discuss this and bring in my guest from Munich. He's talking to us via Skype, and his name is Michael Stuermer, who's a historian and was also an advisor to the former German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, who was in power when that wall came down. Michael, thank you for talking to us on Al Jazeera. Looking at these live pictures of the ceremony taking place right now, in fact, in Berlin, what does today represent for you?
Well, first of all, a memory of a very, very black Sunday. It was a sunny day, but suddenly it was the shadow of war was cast over it and over the whole of Europe. Because when the wall was built, which was barbed wire for the first few days, it was clear this was the apex of a very major world crisis. In fact, the second Berlin crisis came very close to conventional and nuclear war.
And take us back a little, Michael. Why did East Germany need a wall?
Well, it wasn't so much East Germany, it was the whole Soviet bloc, because they couldn't keep their people. You see, Berlin was the only loophole left in the Iron Curtain from the Black Sea to the Baltic, because in Berlin you had the four-power status. The Allies during the war could not agree on who should be the occupying power in Berlin, so they carved up Berlin into four sectors: the Soviet sector and the three Western sectors. Now, due to the four-power status, people could go from east to west, which otherwise was totally impossible or only under very grave risks. And this led to a bleeding out of East Germany, because Walter Ulbricht, the then Secretary General, steered a very tough communist course. So he drove out the elites, and instead of changing his domestic politics, he built the wall, or had the wall built, with the support of the Soviets. But the Soviets were also not too happy about Walter Ulbricht taking them, leading their course, hijacking, so to speak, Soviet world policy and
Sure.
Soviet foreign policy.
And Michael,
And so,
yes, go ahead.
yeah.
What I wanted to say, Michael, what I wanted to say was that you're describing all of this to us, and despite all the dismay that came along with this wall and all the deaths as well, even though the numbers are still disputed to this day over how many people died, you still see walls being built in other parts of the world today, in this day and age. Israel and the West Bank, USA and Mexico, India and Pakistan as well.
Well, the difference is this was a wall to imprison a whole population. Other walls are more defensive. They have a different purpose. The classical walls around a city in the Arab world or in the European history are very different. This was a prison wall directed against their own population. And in fact, you could not, if you were East German, you couldn't even come near the wall from inside, while it was not a defensive wall in any way. It was built against the East German population, every single man and woman.
All right, Michael Stuermer, thank you very much for talking to us there from Munich.